A suggestion came in from our friend the Frisco Flame, and we're going to tackle it today on Till We Make It. I'm Mike Wackenbush. You are watching Till We Make It right now, and I'm going to touch on a topic which could be perceived to be tricky, but I'll help you navigate it with professionalism and class. It's this: what happens if you are dating another professional wrestler? Up front, let me say that I know there are certainly corners of the industry where this sort of thing is considered strictly taboo. And yet the reality is that professional wrestlers do end up in relationships together. This is obvious. The lifestyle of being a professional wrestler is so unusual and so demanding that oftentimes the only people that really understand the level of sacrifice and the amount of hustle involved are other professional wrestlers. And it's also not unusual to imagine that sometimes the professional wrestlers that do end up in relationships are part of the same ensembles or they tour with the same brands, because that is the only way they're ever able to spend any amount of real time together. So while I appreciate there are some who would frown on this, that does nothing to dissuade professional wrestlers from sometimes getting into relationships together. And I want to offer you 3 guidelines to make sure you're able to navigate these waters as safely as possible. Number 1, with an exclamation point. You got to keep your relationship out of the professional environment. You are not going to be backstage at a live event somewhere making out. You are not going to walk in for call time holding hands with your significant other. You are going to keep your personal relationship out of the professional environment. And if you can't imagine why it is important for 2 professional wrestlers who happen to be in a personal relationship to keep that away from the professional sphere, just pull it out of wrestling for a second. Imagine if you worked at a cubicle job at a bubble wrap production company, and you happened to walk in one day with your significant other, sat down at your cubicle, and began making out in front of your boss. In what world does this not result in you being canned? So give that some thought. If it wouldn't fly in any other professional vein, it's not going to fly in professional wrestling either. Number 2, in boldface. You are going to keep your personal relationship away from your professional social media presence for as long as humanly possible. And that might even mean including up to and through your marriage. You want to keep that as far away from social media as possible, because one day some part of it will just end up as uncomfortable fodder for internet trolls. And even if you have all the filters already set up to make sure the trolls can't come and get you, I can think of at least one friend of mine who in the last calendar year basically went through a breakup in full view of the wrestling audience on social media. And the amount of backlash each of them had to deal with in different degrees and of different flavors could have been completely avoided if that relationship had never been made public. And number 3, which has been underlined, italicized, and the font's been changed to Arial Black and then increased to 18 point. You and your significant other are going to keep your personal relationship out of your professional relationships. And I'm going to give you a very clear example of that. You put any 2 professional wrestlers in the world in a personal relationship together, and this is going to be true. They will never be at the exact same point in their individual career developments at the exact same time. They just won't. One's going to be a little bit ahead in this department, and in another department, this one's going to be ahead. In other ways, this one might have a gigantic lead on the other one, etc., etc., etc. It will never be exactly even. And no change in personal relationship is ever going to compensate for that disparity in the professional realm. It does not alter or elevate anybody's status or reputation.
All right, hear me out. There needs to be a clear example here, and I thought we filmed it, but I botched the shot. We don't have a clean take of it, and now my producer is on vacation. But this is too important for the video to go out without this point in it, and so I have ramshackled it all together for you. Here is my point. When 2 professional wrestlers are in a relationship, they've got to keep that personal relationship out of their professional relationships. And a violation of that would be this. If the more in-demand performer, or just the person in the relationship with more work overall, turns back around to all the organizations that offer those bookings and says, now you can only hire me if you also hire my significant other, That is leveraging a professional relationship for the gain of the personal relationship. And even if the person does end up getting bookings as a result of this stipulation, it's not going to engender good feelings with the booker or the promoter, who will have felt strong-armed into offering that booking, and it will almost certainly result in resentment being aimed at your significant other. That's a mistake you cannot afford to make. You've got to keep that personal relationship out of your professional relationships.
And the wonderful reality of being in a relationship with another professional wrestler is this: no one will have so high an opinion of your significant other as you do, and it may in fact be colored or otherwise biased by your personal relationship. I am sharing this not very profound revelation not just with all the members of the Till We Make It tribe who experience this through the magic of YouTube, but also with my friends and trainees the whole world over. Because at least twice in the course of my career, I have had to have a very uncomfortable chat with a personal friend of mine who was convinced that their significant other at the time was about to become the next breakout star of professional wrestling, when unfortunately nothing could have been further from the truth. And being in a position where you have to relay something like that to somebody who you like and care about is a most uncomfortable situation. So in case the message is getting lost, I think it's great that you think so highly of your significant other when you're in a relationship with another professional wrestler, but you've got to remember that last guideline. You're going to keep your personal relationship out of your professional ones. I sure hope you have found this information to be useful, no matter where you're at in your journey as a professional wrestler. And if so, won't you help me to make this channel grow? Share Till We Make It with somebody else that you share a locker room with, or one of your traveling mates in the world of professional wrestling. You go on, keep being awesome, huh? And I'll keep on making the videos, at least every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, together. You and I, we will keep on faking it.